You're watching the 6:15 primetime newscast in the English language on Canal, the International. My name is Gladys Abodiban. Stay tuned for the headlines. A human rights and non-governmental organization has decried the violation of human rights in Cameroon, especially in the northwest, southwest and far north regions of the country, saying it has led to the death of 310 persons, 261 kidnap cases and 37 fire incidents. And in Bamenda, in the northwest region of Cameroon, precisely in Eka, a locality in the Widikum subdivision, shock and consternation hit the population following floods that killed 2 persons in the area. The victims were carried away by running water as the Momo River overflew its banks and flooded neighboring localities. Those were our headlines. Developments right ahead. Good evening and thanks for joining us once again. We begin with this story from the Widikum subdivision in the northwest region of Cameroon. Shock and consternation that hits the population following a flood that killed 2 persons in the area. The victims were carried away by running water as the Momo River overflew its banks and flooded the neighboring localities. The Widikum Council has called on people of goodwill to assist the survivors. Details in this report. At least 2 persons are reported dead following floods caused by heavy rains in Eka village in Widikum subdivision, Momo division of the northwest region of Cameroon. According to the mayor, the 2 female victims were swept by running water when the Momo River that meanders across the subdivision overflew its banks on Thursday.
I call on the international community and even the national community and well wishers to send relief support to those who are affected because they are to their homes, they may not have a way to sleep, where to eat, what to eat, and so on and so forth.
As an economist by training, the mayor also measures the impacts of the huge landslides that blocked circulation at Tiben village in neighboring Batibo subdivision for several hours on both sides of the Trans-African Highway linking Bamenda to Mamfe and Nigeria, passing through Widikum.
The economic loss is much. People coming in to do businesses, they are all stuck. Those who have perishables to carry to the market, they get bad. And it is millions. Losses are in millions, you can imagine. So we're trying to establish the network fast because that is very important.
Already embattered by the over 6 years socio-political crisis, the Widikum Municipal Council, through its executive, is appealing to persons of goodwill to come to the assistance of surviving victims of the floods. Besides losing time and description in their business schedules, hundreds of stranded passengers also got beaten by the heavy downpour. And 2 children are reported to have been abandoned in a house in Kongsamba in the Mongo Division, littoral region of Cameroon. Investigation proved the act was carried out by the parents of the children who are currently in police custody for attempting to adopt the children from a social center. Stephanie Chin tells us more.
After celebrating International Day of the Indigenous People, Emmanuel, head of the Arc de la Miséricorde Social Center, returns home, and to his greatest dismay, he found 2 children abandoned in front of his house at about 11 p.m. He immediately alerted his neighbors as well as the divisional delegate of social affairs with whom he had just parted. As they were pondering over who must have abandoned 2 babies, they found a letter which was supposedly written by the children's mother, the contents being a plea for these children to be catered for. Towards evening, I saw two children here. One was asleep and the other sat like this boy with a bag when I had just returned. I switched on the light and woke up the child who was asleep and called on my neighbors who came, and while the children were crying, we opened their bag and saw a letter, and there it was written that they had abandoned their children because they have no money to take care of them. Report has it that in the course of investigation, the children's biological parents secretly showed up at the social center where the children were being catered for. Their intention, it was revealed, to abduct the children, but were caught in the process. They were detained by the Kongsamba Central Police.
And we have the government that has taken a number of measures to ban supplements and energy drinks in Cameroon. Public Health Minister Malachi Manawuda took the decision amid growing concerns about the presence of high bleaching agents and its devastating consequences to human health after a report by a French television channel exposing the contents of the bleaching agents marketed by some Cameroonians. A wave of suspensions has oozed out, banning the energy drink supplement marketed by Nourishka of Norian Fotsing, Mira Cosmetics, CC Secret, and Karimo. And we talk health. 4 regions of Cameroon, that is the Adamawa, the East, the Far North, as well as the North region, have been endowed with 28 ambulance tricycles to help transport patients to the appropriate health facilities in these regions. Handing the keys of the tricycle ambulances today in the nation's capital, Yaoundé, Public Health Minister Malachi Manawuda instructed the health personnel to ensure the patients in the hinterlands benefit from this health facility. The details we have with Beatrice Ngamo.
The ambulance tricycle is equipped with a wheel stretcher to carry the patient, a bench for those accompanying the patient, oxygen tank to manage poor situation, drip stand, first aid kit, a communication line from driver to inner circle occupants, and more. And 28 of the 3-wheel motorcycles with doors for the driver and passenger sections handed Public Health Divisional delegates as follows: 6 for the Adamawa, 5 for the East, 10 to the Far North, and 7 to the North. With the smaller sizes, the tricycle ambulances will twist and wind ways into hinterlands and enclaved localities in order to deliver emergency first aid care to patients or evacuate patients from where classic ambulances cannot reach easily. A great relief to the cries of the rural population, where emergency cases are often transported under unsafe conditions, risking the survival of some.
L'effort va toujours continuer parce que nous avons davantage de formations sanitaires un peu plus reculées qui n'ont pas de moyens, de dispositifs pour pouvoir faire ces références. Et donc nous devons progressivement équiper toutes ces formations sanitaires.
Efforts in line with government measures to achieve universal health coverage for all. And after these 4 regions, Public Health Minister said the other regions will follow suit.
And we talk environment on environment health experts in Kribi, the Ocean Division, South region of Cameroon, have highlighted the dangers of polluting the oceans and have called for collective action in order to revitalize these actions and all what it sustains. The experts met in Kribi recently and emphasized on the importance of raising awareness on environmental protection, as we hear in this report.
Global warming, rising sea levels, sand digging along the river coast are amongst factors that prevent the development of marine fauna and floral elements, which these environment stakeholders emphasize have adverse effects on biodiversity and consequently environmental insecurity.
To which I alluded earlier in my remarks, is not the result of any illusion. or an ephemeral patient effect, but indeed an instead of generalizing and necessary survival which must call into question our way of conceiving development. It must be more inclusive, more coherent, more sustainable.
The experts have called for collective action to protect the ocean and sea life through awareness campaigns against the overexploitation of the seas and oceans. World Ocean Day, this 2022, celebrated on the theme Revitalization, collective action for the ocean, sheds more light on communities, ideas, and solutions that are working together to protect and revitalize the ocean and everything it sustains.
And we have the Minister of Defense, Joseph Betty-Assomo, that has cleared the air on the sacking of over 900 military officers or military cadet officers and promised to fire more if they present or they found out they have fraudulent certificates. Betty-Assomo condemned the fraudulent acts in the nation's capital, Yaoundé, acts perpetrated by future investigators. You have the details with Hyson Chia from Yaoundé.
Young Cameroonians are encouraged to massively take part in the civil and voluntary participation in local development. The aim of the creation of the National Youth Council, evaluating what has been done on the implementation of youth coordination, expression, dialogue, and many others. The main objective of meeting of these youth with the Minister of Youth Affairs and Civic Education in Yaoundé. Increasing the number of youths as municipal councillors a way forward.
More than 2,000 young Cameroonians that are already youth municipal councillors, and more than 800 have been already installed, and they are already taking their responsibilities and playing their roles at the grassroots level. So it is a strong commitment from us, the young people, to bring our full support, but also to participate in a best manner so that we can be role models and examples for the future, and we can expect bringing our strong support on the table of the decision making.
The initiative of Monona Fotso and well welcomed by these young Cameroonians as an opportunity to showcase their know-how.
Cameroonian young people are expected to contribute to the local development of our country, and this is why we strongly support the initiative of the Ministry of Youth Affairs and Civic Education, but also the MINDEVEL and all the development partners involved in the project, so that they can support the municipality to get much more young people involved, so that they can bring their full participation in the development of their own community at the grassroots level.
Commemorating the International Youth Day this August 12 in Yaoundé under the theme Intergenerational Solidarity, creating a wall for all ages, youths are called upon to be ambassadors of local development.
That was rather a story by Omo Kusumi on the celebration of the International Youth Day this August 12, 2022, which was equally an occasion to evaluate the implementation of the youth municipal councillors in Cameroon. And then we move over to this headline story to talk about the human rights organization, Monde Avenir, that has decried the violation of human rights in Cameroon, especially in crisis-hit areas of the northwest, southwest, and the far north regions of the country, saying it has led to 310% death in the first quarter or the first half of 2022, 261 kidnap cases, and some 37 fire incidents. The details with Stephanie Chen.
Cameroon has recorded an increase in violence, amongst which are cases of murder, kidnapping and burning. According to figures released by human rights NGO Monde Avenir, there have been 310 deaths, 261 kidnap cases, 31 fire incidents and 31 cases of other violent acts in the northwest, southwest, far north and other regions just between the month of April and June 2022. These figures come from a quarterly report on the human rights situation in Cameroon made public today by the NGO Un Monde Avenir in the presence of the Center for Human Rights and Democracy in Africa, represented by Felix Agbo-Bala. The increase in violence is a worry to this human rights organization. Cases of violence have been summarized in a 20-page report, some of which are that of a journalist, Samuel Wazizi, and the case of Amadou Valmouke. Cameroonians have been called upon by human rights activists to strive towards fostering peace in every region and say no to violence.
And it is with that report that we wrap up this edition of the Primetime Newscast in the English language on Canal, the International. The French edition will be yours at this never count with Alain Gisler Kanga. Up next is Debris du Sport with Mathieu Fangua. I will be yours again on Monday, same time, God willing. But then stay tuned to programs on Canal, the International. Bye-bye.